anxiety can be a sign that your nervous system has been shaped so deeply by old wounds that even setting boundaries or forgiving the people who hurt you doesn't immediately make you feel safe. And sometimes your boundary is actually your fear of being disappointed. We live in an age where walking away feels easier than being vulnerable. Block him, cut her off, protect your peace. But sometimes protecting your peace is just avoiding a conversation that could change you, because your nervous system doesn't always know the difference between danger and discomfort. A difficult conversation can feel threatening. A disagreement can feel like rejection. Someone needing space can feel like abandonment. And suddenly, your emotions become evidence. But feeling unsafe doesn't always mean you're actually unsafe. Sometimes you're triggered. Sometimes you're disappointed. Sometimes you're afraid of being rejected again. And sometimes your past is reacting to your present. This is where boundaries can become complicated, because a boundary says, this is what I will accept. But control says, this is how you must behave, so I never feel uncomfortable. Those are not the same thing. You cannot create a boundary that controls another person's every action. You can only control your response. You can say, if you speak to me disrespectfully, I will leave the conversation. That's a boundary. But saying, you can never disagree with me, that's control wearing a self-help vocabulary. And there's another uncomfortable truth. Some people don't have high standards. They have high sensitivity to disappointment. They don't leave because someone mistreated them. They leave because someone failed to meet an imaginary script. He took 3 hours to reply. She canceled dinner. Your friend forgot something. And your mind immediately asks, what does this say about how they feel about me? That's rejection sensitivity. Your brain isn't investigating the event. It's investigating your worth. And that's why small disappointments can feel enormous, because you're not only experiencing what happened, you're experiencing what you think it means. He canceled dinner. That's an event. He doesn't value me. That's an interpretation. And those two things are not identical. This is why emotionally mature people pause. They don't immediately react. They investigate. Was it intentional? Was it repeated? Did they take accountability? Did they repair? Was this a pattern, or was this a moment? Because healthy relationships aren't built by eliminating mistakes. They're built by surviving mistakes without destroying the relationship. Think about it. If someone hurts you and immediately takes responsibility, that's information. If someone hurts you and mocks your feelings, that's information too. If someone makes one mistake, don't turn it into a personality diagnosis. If someone repeats the same behavior after you've communicated clearly, stop calling it a misunderstanding. Patterns matter more than isolated incidents. Discernment is knowing which one you're looking at. And this is where boundaries meet attachment. Sometimes people leave too quickly because closeness itself feels dangerous. The moment someone gets close, the exit door starts looking attractive. So the goal isn't having the strongest boundaries. It's having the wisest ones. Know when to leave. Know when to speak. Know when to forgive. Know when to watch the pattern. Know when your reaction is coming from the present or from an old wound. Because self-respect isn't, nobody gets to disappoint me. Self-respect is, I can survive disappointment without abandoning myself. You don't need relationships where nobody ever hurts you. You need relationships where people care when they do. You don't need perfection. You need accountability. You don't need constant reassurance. You need emotional security. You don't need everyone to agree with you. You need people who can disagree without disrespecting you. You don't need to become harder to hurt. You need to become better at understanding what hurts you. Because sometimes the person in front of you is the problem. Sometimes the pattern is the problem. And sometimes your interpretation is the problem. That's not weakness. That's discernment. The strongest woman isn't the woman who cuts everyone off. She's the woman who knows who deserves another conversation and who doesn't. She doesn't confuse anxiety with intuition. He doesn't confuse disappointment with disrespect. He doesn't confuse attention with love. And she doesn't confuse isolation with peace. Her boundaries have doors. They open for accountability. They open for repair. They open for genuine connection. But they close for manipulation. They close for repeated disrespect. They close for abuse. That's not being guarded. That's being wise.